welcome into the ArtGibbs Sports Business Podcast. In this episode, we're going to talk about the top prize money events throughout the world. This is going to be from 2019. Thank you. All right, so like I said, we're going to talk about the top prize money events throughout the world. One thing that we do a lot here, we talk about cycling. Of course, the Tour de France has a set prize amount, but it's not super high. It's a few $1,000,000 that's given out throughout the race. But there are other sports where the prize money is a major factor and helps in future development with those teams and things like that going forward. Obviously, where prize money fits within the sport varies from sport to sport. Something like cycling, the prize money is a very small amount of the revenue generated by the receivers of the prize money total. So say you have a cyclist, a very small amount of what they earn is going to come from prize money. And that prize money amount is kind of indicative of that. Whereas in Formula One, for instance, the prize money that's doled out is very important. It helps development in upcoming years, and it's large as a percentage of money earned by that team. So the team may earn money from sponsorships, and it also earns money from that prize money. And that prize money is a large percentage. Whereas in cycling, it earns money from sponsorships, it earns money from prize money, but the prize money earnings is very low as a percentage of total money earned. So let's just go through real quickly the top prize money events in the world. So the UEFA's Champions League is number one at $1.3 billion. Again, this is in 2019. Number two, Formula One at $797 million, FIFA World Cup at $576 million, the European Championship at $245 million. Again, this is according to Statista. So then also the World Series in Major League Baseball, $66.5 million, World Series of Poker, $62 million, U.S. Open, $47 million, Wimbledon, $45, FedEx Cup, $35. Now, we'll talk a little bit about Formula One in this context again. So Formula One is number two at almost $800 million. Now, where does the prize money come for Formula One? We've talked about this a little bit before, but the prize money is based on TV revenue sharing. So unlike cycling where that TV revenue is not shared to the teams, in Formula One, it is shared to the teams via this prize money dole out. So in Formula One, there's a percentage of the TV earnings that are doled out in prize money. Just like in the NFL and the NBA, where the salary cap is based on a percentage of revenue, or a percentage of the TV money. And then that functions as the salary cap. So basically, the players are given out, they're paid out half of the revenue. It's kind of a revenue sharing situation. And it's similar in Formula One, and that the teams are paid out in this revenue sharing situation. Now, of course, not all Formula One teams are paid out the same. And also in the NFL and the NBA, not all players are paid the same, right? So it's dividing it by category. Players make X amount of money, but not necessarily this player or that player in any given situation. Same with Formula One. The money's given out. There's $800 million going out, but who gets it is dependent on how they do now, or it's becoming dependent on how they do mainly. So in Formula One in the past, and it's actually still governed by the Concord Agreement, but the Concord Agreement has been amended to be a little more based on how the team finishes and how they do. But to initially set up that Concord Agreement, Bernie Ecclestone had to give a lot to Ferrari and various teams, Williams, those kinds of things, to get everyone to the table to sign. And so in doing that, the payouts were not solely based on how that team did that year. There was some base payments set up for Ferrari. There was some base payments set up for McLaren, those manufacturers, to bring them to the table to allow them to sort of consummate this Concord Agreement as a group. Certain things were needed by those teams. And that's why before the results are even posted, there's, Ferrari's going to make X amount, McLaren's going to make X amount, and Racing Point is going to make, lower than that, let's say. So, and then you layer on how they all do that year, and then sort of that initial starting point combined with how they do that year, that gives you what they make as a team. And again, that's a large percentage of what they earn. Let's see what else we've got. Okay, so you have FIFA World Cup, US Open, FedEx Cup, UEFA's Champions League. So again, Formula One ranks 2 on those large events and money, and cycling is not there. It's non-existent. Yeah. So again, the prize money functions differently within different leagues. I'm not as familiar with those other leagues and those other sports on that list, but as far as within F1, we know how that prize money is built, and in the NFL and the NBA, we know how that salary cap is made, and then how it's doled out is based on individual contract negotiations with the team, with the players. And then in Formula One, it's based on how that team does, combined with individual contract negotiations with that team and Formula One as a whole through that Concord Agreement. So again, that's just a little bit about prize money, how it fits in different sports, and you can see by the large number that Formula One has, especially compared to other events, if it's a big piece, functions as a big piece, non-existent in cycling, and effectively is in some ways the salary cap, similar to the salary cap in the NFL and NBA. All right, again, that was just a quick one. Please like and subscribe. Visit our YouTube channel, ArtGibbs Sports Business Podcast. We also have the more purely finance YouTube channel, ArtGibbs. You can subscribe, ArtGibbs Sports Business Podcast on iTunes, Spotify, etc. Thank you. Have a great day.